Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey. Today I am joined by Darkest Light and Vector Maximus, discussing the last map that's in Europe, the HRE, or as they put it, Germany, because we have seen little bits of the map of the HRE so far. But, was it not properly started yet?
Doesn't seem to have.
Hmm. Oh, there we go.
Do over.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, I mean, I could say it again. I could say the funny line again. Greetings and welcome. I am
No, no,
Joffrey.
no, the momentum has already been ruined. Just jump right in.
Okay, fine. We're discussing the map of Germany. So the middle of the HRE, which we've seen little bits of the outsides of so far. But I am very excited to see to take a closer look at the Voltaire's nightmare situation we're dealing with. Yes, yes. Hello and welcome to Voltaire's Nightmare. This is the Voltaire's Nightmare Tinto map for sure. Woo! Alright. Hello and welcome to another Tinto Maps. Yes, Pavia's back on duty. Johan's taking care of... Yeah, yeah. This region comprises the modern territories of Czechia, Austria, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Gotta make sure they add
A
Liechtenstein.
noticeable country is missing in that list. The region of Germany comprises of Czechia, Austria, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein.
No
That's
other
like all of
countries.
the HRE except Germany.
There's no other
Yeah.
country in that area.
Mm-hmm.
What is Pavia's brain short-circuited, or I am completely misunderstanding that line?
No, there's
I
nothing
guess
else. It is just those four.
I think all that you're missing in this sentence is this region also comprises the
Yeah,
modern
that would fix it.
territories. However, for the most part of the timeline in Project Caesar, it was better known as the Holy Roman Empire. This organization once was a feudal empire elevated from the kingdom of the Germans, but by 1337 was mostly disaggregated into a multitude of temporal and ecclesiastical jurisdictions, with only a tenuous feudal relationship with their emperor. Yes, exactly. I either forgot the also or the Germany. Let's start diving deep into this nightmare then.
I already see the inevitable HRE focused expansion that they'll call Voltaire's Nightmare.
The
Of
better.
course.
Yeah, like we had Emperor in EU4 give us Voltaire's Nightmare in
Mhm.
EU5. Woo! We saw the outlines of this in it with no colors previously, but with color, this is so much more horrifying in a wonderful way.
Like somebody spilled a whole pallet of paint.
And, the best part, Vector, we're going to be able to you can anyone can make client states from day one, so that means I can
They
make it
also men-
worse.
they also mentioned in one of the comments how they've got it implemented for the HRE. So one of the things about the HRE was um, it was essential only the electors had a primogeniture for much of its Middle Age history. Um, so all the other princes would split on succession, and apparently they have that implemented. So we
No
might see
way do they have
crags getting
partition.
dynamically spit out of these principalities based on the number of children. In which case, I am so morbidly curious to see it.
Yeah, Vector. They made I you saying that is so interesting to me because they've made statements before that just for some reason ticked a box in my head that made me think that for some reason that we would have partition mechanics in the game, and that was leaving me just being like, what the. There's no way they would do that. How would you do that? Why would you? But now with you saying this, yeah, the idea that they could actually have stuff coded in for it to just generate a new country because I
or
mean,
split out ones that have cores in the
Yeah.
country. But yeah. And it
Huh.
honestly, if they have that implemented for like a partition succession for the HRE and stuff like that, I could see them potentially also having something implemented for France where it automatically spits
Yeah.
out appanages for second
Exactly.
and third sons.
I would love that so much for France to just generate new appanages. That would be so cool. And then that makes it like just more difficulty for you to try and integrate it. But the idea of if you're playing as one of the feudal realms in the HRE, so you're not one of the republics or theocracies, you're just Luneburg. If Luneburg just has a chance on succession to split and just to devolve even more. What have you missed? Oh, we're talking about just mainly we're just
Now, let me see
discussing
if I can
how
find
much
the comment in
horrifying this
question
is.
so I can direct you to it.
Just the comparison of EU4's HRE to EU5. Ansbach. You can only actually see only like half of the countries have their full names displayed. Why is Lip in two places as well? Everything's split up into tiny pieces.
And we
Why
still
is-
have the glorious nation of Die.
Where's Die? Where's Die? I don't remember.
To the
There it
top.
is.
Yeah, just Die.
It's the same color as Cologne. Cologne is one of the most egregious countries on this map. Just horrible. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Wow.
We can make it worse.
Yes. Voltaire is rolling in his grave. He is having a terrible nightmare right now. I can't wait for people to give feedback on this map and
if you
force the
set
dead
it
more.
to dev only posts on the third page, it's the first comment that talks about the succession law stuff.
Am I gonna already jump to that?
We can get to
It's
that.
up to
We'll get
you.
to that eventually.
All right, we'll get there. Yeah. What's my first HRE game gonna be? Let's
My first
read
HRE
this.
game is going to be playing as Ansbach because that's where the Hohenzollerns rule. And I'm going to conquer my way and claim Brandenburg as it should rightfully be
Oh my
Hohenzollern. And
god.
then I'm going to go and form Prussia.
Whew. I mean,
Because the
Firm.
only rightful Kaiser of Germany is a Hohenzollern.
I think that the rightful ruler of the HRE is actually the Frisian Peasants' Republic.
That doesn't sound very imperial monarchist of you.
The Frisian Freedom.
Please report to your Bismarck secret police.
Maybe make it a truly holy empire and take it over as like, oh, who is it? Wait, one of these?
I do.
There's Trent.
I do hope that if you're like a peasant republic and you form Germany, I hope we can get like the German Confederation as a title on the map. Because that's one of my favorite things in like Vic 2 mods is forming the German Confederation. I don't know. It's a fun, neat alt history sort of shtick.
Dithmarschen is safe. Yep, she's safe. She's okay. There she is. She's right there. She's fine.
And then to a little ways south of that, we have the country of Die.
Die. Ross. Reg. I like lube. There's two lubes. There's lube. One of them is like silvery blue, and the other's like almost Denmark color. What is going
Silvery
on?
blue is the only lube I will recognize because that's its color in EU4.
Yes, but yeah, Aiden, what's going on? We're discussing the two different lubes on the map. See, See, there's this one with the accent, and
The
then this
region
one
is
doesn't have an accent.
the region is lubing up for Denmark to come in to claim Schleswig-Holstein.
What? What is it? What the hell is Jawar? Jawar?
It's in
Is it?
Silesia.
Oh, it's a Silesian county, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot. The Bohemians. Yeah, I think.
Don't question the Bohemians.
I forget how this works. The Bohemians have some of these are PUs and some of them are subjects, and I think, and they also have Moravia as a subject, but I don't remember
Yeah,
what's
Moravia
what.
and basically all the Silesian principalities are subjects.
They're all subjects or PUs at least.
I don't think any of them are PUs. I think they're all subjects.
Mm,
Like, I think
rest in
Moravia
peace.
is technically ruled by like Bohemia's cousin twice removed or something like that, but it's a vassal.
J isn't pronounced like that in any Slavic language. Oh, it's pronounced a different way. It's not pronounced J. Too bad.
Well, the only bits EV that we're missing from Eastern Europe is a little bit of the steppe with the Golden
Yeah.
Horde. I mean, we've got Ruthenia, Central Russia, Baltics, Poland, all that. So
We don't have the Caucasus and we don't have the the Golden Horde proper. So
yeah, there's a Reddit post that I also posted on the Realms Discord, Joffrey, and off topic if you want to grab it. It's the guy who's been stitching it all together in on Reddit. In fact, I'll just grab it and drop it in our chat so you can have it.
that would be nice, yes. Well, this is interesting, yes. And they updated it with the HRE stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a lot of work to do stuff like this. This is
Well,
not an
I'm
easy
just
thing to
so
do.
impressed by how seamlessly the dude's been stitching it together.
Mm-hmm. Sheesh.
But it is a fascinating image. You've got this entire mess of fractured feudal shittery from France basically to Poland. And then you have England,
In Iberia.
Scandinavia, and Iberia, which are relatively centralized states, plus Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary is surprisingly centralized, but I've heard that at this point in time it should be. So, and then you've got Lithuania, which also has a ton of subjects as well.
Yeah.
The Scandinavian countries are pretty centralized, all things considered. Interestingly,
But they're also really underpopulated.
yeah. Hmm. The Muslims aren't
Some of the
all
French
split up
appendages
either.
probably get close to the populations of the Scandinavian countries.
You don't have like the Mamluks, for example, split up due to feudalism shenanigans. They're also pretty centralized. It's a very neat thing to look at. This, jeez, to think that. Oh yeah, Novgorod's centralized. They've just got a couple subjects in the west.
But as we saw, it's also very low population.
Again, yeah, everyone up there.
The damn princes of Moscow.
Princes all of the principalities around Muscovy are going to be. But, England's only got England actually I forget. England's pretty centralized, but they do actually have subjects. They've got Pale, Wales, Aquitaine. I think that's it.
A few
Though.
other of the Irish minors are English vassals. You can basically see the ones colored like them on Ireland are English subjects.
And then they're debating if Man is going to be his own one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose back to this. But yeah, I'm not sure what exactly my first HRE run would be. There's so many countries that I could play. I have to find someone suitably haggard. Which is tricky. Aachen? Oh god. Not again. Not again. Ah. There.
Evie, next week, next week's area is going to be the Maghreb, so North
Yes!
Africa. So we'll have the entire Mediterranean.
I guessed it. Guessed it. Would be that. Yes, Tyrol is big.
They're also discussing splitting up Austria, since historically it was a few different duchies, particularly Austria and Styria and Carniola, which were being ruled in a personal union together at this point.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that this part of Austria was made into Styria. Some of those Austrian enclaves could definitely do with being subjects.
Styria, I think, is more north.
Yeah, where Salzburg has its enclaves.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Showing here a bit more of what the region is. You have a clear depiction of how it looks compared to the neighboring regions we've previously shown. And so that the Reddit guy who is patchworking the world map has an easier day. Oh,
Take a look at the subreddits.
Yes. What I can say about this when the map speaks for itself. The lands of Germany are highly fractured among different principalities, making for an extremely complex political situation. The emperor in 1337 was Louis IV von Wittelsbach of Upper Bavaria, because, yes, Bavaria is also divided. He is married to Margaret of Avesnes, daughter of Count William of Hainaut, Holland and Zeeland. Oh. Well, his son Louis is the Margrave of Brandenburg. Oh. Huh. The Wittelsbachs are in Brandenburg too? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the strongest power of the period is the Kingdom of Bohemia, whose King John, also the Duke of Luxembourg, that's right. Luxembourg family strong. Rules over both lands in a personal union, while also being overlord of the Margravate of Moravia, ruler by his son Charles and the Silesian principalities. Ruler by his son Charles. Ruled by his son Charles?
Yeah.
Assuming his son Charles.
Okay, so Moravia is basically an appanage.
Yeah. The Margravate of Moravia is ruled by his son Charles and the Silesian principalities. The third contender, probably, is the Duchy of Austria, ruled by Albert II von Habsburg. He also rules over some lands in the formed duchies of Swabia and
duchies of Swabia and Carinthia. That's what I was thinking, not Carniola. Carinthia.
Yeah. Okay.
aka modern-day Slovenia.
There are also plenty of medium and small countries all over the region, with very different forms of government, which will probably make this HRE a very replayable experience. Ellipsis. For some reason you want to do a Swiss playthrough. Oh boy, uniting the Swiss cantons. Oh god. Oh. That does sound very interesting for sure, because there are a lot of those little Swiss cantons. It's before the Austrians moved in.
Unlock Swiss watchmaking.
Yes, Swiss clocks. You got Savoy. Even now, Savoy has its grubby little hands in Switzerland. It's good with Genève being split off.
It's eager to go into Piedmont.
I mean, Savoy barely holds anything in frickin' Italy proper at this point. It's kind of funny.
It's eager. It's about to be going.
They're a proper French country at this point in time.
They're eager.
I think they're that Alpine. No, the Alpines are Viennois. Savoy is the Alsatians. I forget what that culture is.
No, they're
called.
Arpitan.
Arpitan, yes. Which is also, I think, in French.
Viennois might also be Arpitan, or at least have some Arpitan in it.
Yeah, Arpitan's the north of Viennois, I think, as well. It's so interesting that Viennois is also in the HRE at this point. It's like,
Hmm.
it's a very different HRE, that's for sure. And I'm excited to get my hands on it eventually. Hopefully not soon.
Yeah, just imagine this time when you press revoke the privilegia, you won't just get, 50 subjects. You'll get, well, read on and you'll see how many titles, how many princes start.
All right. Two dynasties map. Yeah. Wittelsbach.
The Welland dynasty is pretty widespread.
Yes!
Little
Velfin!
one.
Yes. Capet? What?
Mm-hmm.
The Capets are still alive? This can't be the Capet family, right?
I don't know. I I vaguely know the relation between the Valois and because the Valois are a cadet of the Capetians, aren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, the Capetian House of Valois was a cadet branch of the Capetian dynasty.
Interesting that republics have dynasties, or some of them do. Wait, the Frisian Freedom has a dynasty,
Yes.
but Dithmarschen doesn't. This is that Dutch government type bullshit going on here. So, and then you have basically none of the Silesians have a government. That basically none of them have a dynasty. Wait, they're Piasts. That's why. This isn't that they don't have any. They're all Piasts.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. For now.
Yeah, until they get integrated. Someone needs to beat up Bohemia and split it up into tiny pieces. It's too strong. Yeah, the Premislids still around in that one county, I guess. Yeah. The dynastical map of the HRE gives a nice picture of the situation explained in the previous one. The von Wittelsbachs de Luxembourg, John of Bohemia, is considered a French culture. Oh, God! Oh, my God. He's French. Therefore, it uses the French toponymic article. Duh. Oh! It's the de Luxembourg family because they're French. Oh! And then you have de la Scala, for example, as well. Oh, that is really neat. And if he
We
changes
still
his
can't
culture,
escape the fucking Habsburgs, though.
never. You'll never escape von Habsburg. I mean, they're not the main power right now, though, so. Um, I mean, Bavaria
Give
is
them
the
time.
emperor right now, but, I mean, Bohemia is the
Give
proper
them
power.
time to find their way into everybody's pants.
Yes. They shall. They shall.
They're like frickin' anime harem protagonists.
Yes, it's
Everybody
true.
just falls over for them.
Everyone wants that jaw. What that mouth do, though? Luxembourg dynasty and von Habsburg cover much of the map. You may note that the Wittelsbachs rule over 5 different countries. I did not notice this. Upper Bavaria, Lower, the Palatinate of the Rhine, and Brandenburg. Oh yeah, that would be 5. Sheesh! Oh, I wonder how united they are. The House of
Probably
Luxembourg.
not very.
The art. Oh, that's why their color's over here. The Archbishopric of Trier is ruled by a member of their family right now. The King
Frickin'
John's
Baldwin.
uncle. His uncle is the Archbishop of Trier. Oh
Yes,
gosh.
welcome to medieval church politics.
Yeah.
Everybody who is anybody in the church was likely related to a major important family.
Other important dynasties, although in secondary position, are the Welfens, the von Mecklenburgs, and Griff. presented in multiple countries to the north. The Ascanier, is it French? Ascanier? Who also happen to control half.
No,
No,
I
it's
believe
not. Then
I
it's
believe they're
Saxon.
German, Ascanier.
Yeah, yeah. They happen to control half of Upper Saxony, while the rest is in the hands of the Wettins and the von Gors, who rule over the Duchy of Tyrol and the County of Gorizia. And here is the international organization. Oh! God
It's the
damn.
HRE.
We obviously have to repost the HRE International Organization map here. The purple stripes mark the Imperial territory, while the different types of members use other different colors. We currently have these divisions in the International Organization. Ooh. The Emperor is dark blue, Prince Electors are light blue, the Archbishop Electors are 3 medium blue. What the fuck is a medium blue? Free Imperial cities are light green, and Imperial Peasant Republics are orange. Imperial Prelates are white, and regular members are 200, there's 280 of them, dark green. There's 23 free cities?
Yep.
So there's just 4 prince electors, and then the archbishop electors are different. So there's 7 electors. Oh. I guess the emperor right now is not an elector. I want to find out what prelates are now. What does that mean? Utrecht is a
They don't explain what imperial prelates are, but I believe they're ones. I think they're ones that have access to imperial immediacy, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me look it up.
Saxony's an elector, Brandenburg, Bohemia, the Palatinate. That looks pretty familiar. And you've got Trier and Mainz.
Imperial abbots, provosts, and priors were formerly known as imperial prelates. So these are theocracies, but not bishoprics.
Theocracies, but not bishoprics? What? What does that
So
mean?
monastic states and stuff like that.
Dynastic theocracies? What?
So they're led by prince abbots. Or no, that's only for a very small subsection of them.
So like Aquelia, for example, is ruled by priests,
Yes.
but they're a dynasty of priests.
No, they aren't a dynasty. It's essentially ruled by a monastery. So it's not part of the church structure. So it's not a bishopric because it's not a bishop in the church hierarchy. But it's a monastery state.
That makes sense then. That's an interesting distinction to make. That they're not part of the church hierarchy. I wonder how that plays into their membership in the empire and how much it affects their like what does that do for you as a member of the Catholic Church International Organization?
Yeah, will be interesting.
The green, I think that's showing land that an imperial state owns that isn't part of the empire.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because the purple lines show, yeah, I think that is in fact showing.
Yeah,
just,
those are essentially imperial cores or lands considered rightfully part of the empire. You can see a little bit in Burgundy, a little bit in Flanders, a little bit there in Poland.
There's a tiny bit of Polish land that is considered, yeah, de jure part of the empire, and then there's a little bit of Jawar or Yawar, Yawar, that is not actually considered part of the empire.
The
So
war never changes.
how how that how that changes one way or the other is something I'll be curious about. Whether there's going to be just like an EU4 button where it's like Poland's just like, no, it's not an imperial core anymore, and can Yawar just be like, yes, this is part of the empire now. Uh,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar to EU4's way of, judging imperial provinces.
Baron's a free city. Huh. Interesting. Well, gosh, you could. Ooh, that's right. I forgot that a bunch of the cantons historically were temples. So they're straight up four, five Basel as
Interesting.
well. Five
Interesting
cantons
thing.
that are monasteries.
Yeah. Interesting thing. Apparently, all of the imperial prelates only got a single combined vote in the imperial diet.
Huh?
So all of these like 40 something monastery imperial prelates, they historically only got a single vote in the imperial diet. So
That's terrible.
yeah,
They're
later in
basically
history they were divided into 2 votes, but that's the most they got.
what? But they've got no influence on anything. Holy shit.
They're monks. The only things they should care about is brewing beer.
It's like, oh, well, uh, Baron Baron gets a vote to itself. All the other different cantons, but the monastery ones just don't count. They just don't get votes. You get why they chose that specifically for the name? Wait, what? That city specifically for the name of Bern? Or what? Yawar? I don't know. You're probably just talking about Yawar because you only care about the Slavs. Hmm. Regular members. So, yeah, that makes for a total of 357 countries that are a part of the HRE at game start. And before you ask, no, we won't talk about its mechanics today. That will happen in future Tinto Talks.
L. Biggest
No!
But just think about Renovatio Imperii with 357 countries.
You're going to need to be so late in the game to actually want to do that. Because you're going to have. It's such a large amount of space that you're going to have such terrible control. Ah, I
I mean, it's
imagine for
not
the
much
vast
bigger
majority
than
of the
like
game.
centralizing France. I mean, it's a decent amount bigger, but not by a ton.
I think this qualifies as being significantly larger than France.
Yeah, but not by more than I'd say like a fourth or a third. I suppose if you
That
also
looks.
throw in Italy, then it gets pretty damn big.
Yes, if you include Italy, that's double. That's an
Yeah,
easy
if you
double.
include Italy, it's probably about double. I don't think it's impossible though, even
Huh.
in mid game. If
We
you,
don't know yet, I suppose. Though the Alps are a big factor for sure. The Alps are a big sticking point. I wonder where you'd want. Where would you want a capital if you're playing in Germany? Where would you be? If
Frankfurt,
you probably Frankfurt's probably the place to be. Yeah,
yeah, for a conventional centralized
yeah.
HRE, I'd say It's hard to beat the centrality of Frankfurt, and
If
I think it's on the Rhine. Is Frankfurt on the
yeah,
Rhine?
uh,
Yeah, if it's on the Rhine, then that connects you up with all the rest of, well, the Rhineland, which is Germany, which has been forever Germany's economic heart. So,
mm-hmm. If you went down into Italy though, you would definitely want to set up a at least one vassal state to run the place.
yeah, probably some sort of imperial authority. Probably base it out of Milan.
Mm-hmm. Or Genoa. One of those two.
I'd say Milan because that's more control over the Po Valley, which is more, I think, important
I mean, yeah,
in
yeah.
all of Italy.
If you're just dealing with North Italy, it wouldn't need to be on the coast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But if you're talking about appointing an authority to rule over all Italy, I feel like there isn't reasonably a choice other than Rome.
yeah. It would just be the objectively best spot in regards to controlling
And if
all
you
of
can't
Italy.
get Rome and you're dealing with the rest of the whole thing, I'd say Tuscany is more central.
Mm-hmm.
Either Tuscany or Naples, but I feel Naples is neglecting the north a bit too much.
There's the boy, Frankfurt, just a little guy. Still there. I could play Frankfurt as my first game.
Praise
God.
be Frankfurt.
The first game in the HRE has to be one where you play like I could be like the Palatinate and then try to take over the HRE, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I feel like the first game with the new HRE it has to be a let's actually unify the HRE
Mm-hmm.
sort of game.
Which means you can't you got to play a feudal country. It's got to be a monarchy. You got to try and centralize it, and then I'd have to play someone like the Rhine, which yeah, that sounds like it could be a lot of fun. You try and take over the Wittelsbach family. I might have to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, who knows? I might do a cursed Brandenburg playthrough.
Let's do a
That
vector
or
together. Day one.
yeah,
Day one. Let's go.
cursed
More
cursed
day one
Brandenburg
promises.
playthrough.
More day one promises.
It's either
Add.
that or yeah, go as Frankfurt, become a monarchy, and centralize the empire.
You could start as Frankfurt and become a monarchy, just like you could start as Aachen.
Yeah, or
Aachen's
Nassau.
purple, which is good.
That's right next door to Frankfurt, and so I think it would be a pretty decent choice for
Nassau, yeah. And then
wanting
also
to do
Mainz.
a
become a
Rhineland playthrough.
become a monarchy as the Archbishop Elector of Mainz. Don't take too long. I'm sure it takes ages to try and change your government type. But in any case, you can continue along. I've made my Tinto map required ooh, this is totally what I'll play day one statement.
Yeah, gonna have to play many games that first day.
Mm-hmm. Germany has the highest density of locations in the world. Wow.
Makes sense.
As we wanted to portray the historical fragmentation of the HRE at the most detailed level of any Paradox Grand Strategy game. There are a couple of things that we are aware of and want to rework. The location connections, as in some places that they're not obvious at all, and we want to make warfare in the HRE not impossible. And the transition between the German locations and those at their east, making it smoother. Something that we will be doing in the review of Poland, Hungary, and this region. Example for Bohemia. A final comment, if you click on the smoother button, you may also see 4 detailed locations. This is like the only time that it's actually like, oh, I want to see these detailed images. I want to see these more detailed ones. Okay, so the one with the accent is the proper Lubeck, even though it's not the color, which is sad. There's Berlin. Paderborn. Where's some weird looking stuff? We can see, is Frankfurt in this one? It's Cologne. It should be just south of this, I think. Yeah. Low countries. Oh, geez. Holstein has 5 locations in it. It really is a proper country. I say proper country by HRE standards. Ulm. Love to see it. Where's Frankfurt? Würzburg. It should be just over here. There's Frankfurt. Mainz. It's not even next to Mainz anymore. Oh god. Saarbrücken. Where's Switzerland? Yeah, St. Gallen. county of Schwyz. Basel looking wonk. Huh. Where's Baron? Should be like here. Is Baron Basil? What? I don't know. Vienne. That's a lot. That's some. Oh great, there's East Baden. There's a Baden just south of Vienne. Oh, and there's Baden over here. You can't do this.
Watch them.
The Alps are gonna be so whack. Oh god. Oh, oh Geneva is so small. Oh. This is gonna be so fun. Right. I suppose can move on from there. You could be Nassau and somehow form the Netherlands. What? The Nassau family is historical there?
Yeah, the Prince of Orange.
Provinces, don't really care about that. Areas is a little more interesting. Oh, areas. We're currently not happy with the area of orders, or at least one of our German content designers isn't. And let me note, while preparing the temp diary, as they reflect more modern areas. Oh. So be looking into an alternative setup for them with your feedback. They also currently use their German names, which will change to English ones to be in line with other areas as usual. Oh, okay. I see. And so currently, I guess these names are more in line with modern German provinces. Tyrol and Trent. My favorite state name. Tyrol and Trent. Carnton, Steiermark, and Slovenia. Wait, Lower Austria. There is no other Austria though. Oh wait. Oh my god, I hate this. You have Lower Austria, and then right next to it, Upper. You have Lower Austria, and then next to it is Upper Österreich.
And it's
Dreadful.
yeah, they've said that they need to standardize these all with English and stuff like that. So
ooh, so fancy! Whoa, I never would have guessed all of the Arctic terrain in the Alps. Though that's mostly impassables, I think.
I think it's all impassables.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. Oceanic, continental, whatever. I don't know enough about how that works to make much of a comment. So yeah, it's pretty standard. Here's something more interesting. And by more interesting, I mean, look at the swamp Germans. Ah, marsh.
Marsh. Mickey.
Fried corn and boiled eggs. Oh, now I'm hungry. Oh no. Ooh, look at Bohemia's terrain. Look at these hills. Wow. The flatland.
Quickly build forts there and don't surrender them when the Germans ask for them.
Yes, yes. Wetlands equals marsh. Marsh, 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 marsh. Gosh, there's so much of it. And then just Dithmarschen.
Is marsh in?
I have never heard of waffle fries. The heck is a waffle fry?
What? You've never heard of waffle fries?
No. What is
What the hell?
this? What is this sorcery?
I mean, I would be shocked if you've never seen them. You might not have heard them called it.
Waffle fries. Oh! I have seen those.
Yeah, like I said, I was going to be shocked if you'd never actually seen them. I could understand you never having heard them called that, but
Hmm. Uh, mm. It's like I don't think waffle fries sounds like a right term for them. They sound like they look like chips. They're potato chips more than fries, and I don't know.
no,
I guess
they're
the waffle
fries
part
because
from the holes in the middle.
the way that they're formed is essentially, like how a waffle iron will squash the batter into
Yeah.
that shape with all the deep ridges and stuff. This is essentially the same thing, but using potatoes, and that's how they become. And then you fry them, and that's how you get waffle fries.
Makes sense. Hmm. Like that Genève is also just the one flat land in Switzerland. The rest of it is either hills, mountains, or plateaus if you're lucky. Alright. Oh, terrain map mode. Yes. The region is quite forested in comparison to other parts of Europe. There is quite a lot of farmlands in Switzerland on those plateaus, though. In fact, Genève is not a farmland, even though it's flat. Interesting. I like the dense forest all over Austria, except the one farmland in the middle where Vienna is. Very, very interesting. No farmlands in Bohemia. I'm genuinely surprised they didn't make like at least some of the lowland there farmlands. Hmm. Put my capital in the Black Forest and make it a stronghold. Hmm. I'm sure that forests will be good for defending in. I think that there is definitely going to be some like rough terrain forest lands that you could like the borders of Bohemia, for example. A lot of this is forest and hills, so that's probably pretty decent for defending. Who knows how that works yet, but oh, there's actually some sparse lands up here in the Alps, and by some I mean one county. I wonder what caused them to think that specifically. Maybe that's like the one. It's like that's the one Arctic county that you can actually interact with. It's not impassable. But here's the good shit. Here's the good shit here. Oh God. Let's open the Pandora box and take a look at the cultures. The German cultures have come through a couple of reworks until we found a spot in which we're kind of happy, or at least our German content designers do not complain. The German cultures are very linguistically related, as we thought that it would be the best starting point for 1337. Please let us know about your thoughts on them. Ooh, this is
Brandenburgish feels a little weird.
Brandenburgish is a name. Oh, there's still lots of Slavs in Eastern
Yeah, this
Brandenburg,
is
interestingly.
before. Well, you can see with how the cultures are, being slashed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mixing and settlement going on in that area. I wonder if they'll have something in that area to simulate Drakos Nos.
I don't know what that
So
is.
it's the historic German eastward settlement.
Oh, okay.
So because otherwise, the way that they've described it as cultural assimilation is going to be relatively slow to the point where well-populated provinces won't really flip naturally. But, well, no, if you get pops to migrate, I suppose, then you could have it. You just won't have pops convert, but if pops migrate, then that could do it. Since that's something. So if they have some sort of thing where, Germans are attracted to settle those areas, and then they assimilate to the German cultures in the area, then that simulate it, I guess.
I don't know how they would accomplish it. That would make sense as a way that it would happen, but with the way that these game mechanics are designed, I'm not convinced that it's I don't think they've made a system for it to be more easy to assimilate cultures that are similar to yours. But I do the it's that one because there's two Lubecks. One of the Lubecks is Palabian, which is interesting. It's a little Palabian holdout. Don't know if the actual state itself is Palabian, but at any rate, there's a lot of Palabians there, and a lot of Kashubians. Like it's Palabian culture with lots of Kashubian minority. So that's a very Slavic corner. Just the tip of Holstein. It's
Well,
crazy.
yeah, but I don't think, just based on the geography, I think it's pretty loose, small population in that little bit. And that's something we have to keep in mind. You know, lots of cultures on the map, but that does not mean everything is equally populated.
Yeah, I doubt there's as many people up here. The northern part of the empire. You have this. You've been glitched Eevee. You've been decided on playing England and releasing Cornwall. Oh, wait, and then invading Italy and making it Cornish? That's insane, man. There's no way that would work.
That's a corny plan.
That is seriously corny, dude. Gosh, I don't like Silesian German as a name. I don't like it.
Well, they comment on
bad.
it in one of the comments, and it is what it is.
Gosh, there's so much of it. It is all over the place here.
Well, that's not all Silesian German. Silesian German's just probably the stuff in Silesia itself.
It's the same. It's the same color, just like out here.
No.
They talked about it being the
Well,
same
some
one
of
that's
it,
up in
yeah, but
Poland.
the stuff like in Chechnya looks like it's
Oh yeah, that down
the
here.
new
That's
Bavarian
yeah,
and such.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That the stuff down here you can see right here is where it crosses over between being some. Yeah, there's some Franconians here too. Interesting. Oh God. Westphalian, Eastphalian.
And then you've got Angrian in the middle.
Eastphalian?
It's glorious. This is what we needed. When are we getting North Phalian or South Phalian?
If you do it, you'll join my Discord and provide evidence. You better provide proof if you pull that off. Yeah. Cornish Brittany is probably a lot. That's a lot more feasible there, I'm sure. But wait, what? Low Franconian? Huh? You got Frisian and Low Franconian. What? There is no Dutch culture?
Dutch culture hasn't formed yet. I'm assuming it'll be some sort of dynamic historic event.
Yeah. That would make sense. Huh. There's so many different Franconians. East Franconian, Rhine Franconian, Middle Franconians, whatever Ripuarian Franconian, Low Franconians. The Franks do be going in the round. Yeah. Romanish? Huh. And Latin. Gosh, this.
That's a thing. It's essentially the Italic speakers of Switzerland.
Huh.
It's a dialect of Italian, essentially Romance language.
And then Latin, I guess, is the Italian, the Italians of Trent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
They still exist today? Who does? The Low Franconians? I assume you mean the Romanish. Yeah.
No, he's yeah, the one still
Yes.
existing. Yeah, it's the Romanish. He's talking about it.
Yes, Gemalt, I will riot if we don't have Eastphalia as a formable. I must be able to become Eastphalia.
We must be able to impose the Peace of Eastphalia instead of the Peace of Westphalia.
I just realized that Utrecht is more Westphalian than it is Dutch. Jeez. But yeah, this is really cool. I like the Palabians just barely holding on in a few places, and you've got the Frisians all up along the coast here. That's really neat. Like there's a bunch of Frisians in Holstein. Holstein's culture is disgusting. This is dreadful. They need to sort this out. Pick a side. Holstein needs to pick a side and stick with it. Oh goodness. Alright, now what do they say about this? Yes. Oh no, they don't have anything more to say about it than that. They're not even gonna be like, oh, yes, the this and this. The this means this, and this is why this exists. No, it just is. Yeah. Southern Bavarian, Danube Bavarian. Funny. Forgot that Auvergne was a thing. Yeah, there's Arpitan, which yeah, it is the north half of Viennois as well. It's good. It's quite a big culture. Hmm. Hmm. I wonder what the largest population is in Germany of these cultures, just in the HRE. I don't know where the highest population center would be at this point yet, but I guess they're gonna show
You're going
us
to
that in a
see the map.
second. Mm-hmm. Catholic, unsurprising. Boring religion map this week, as the region is overwhelmingly Catholic. There are Ashkenazi Jews in a bunch of places. Quick count. They are present in 204 locations all over Central and Eastern Europe. And you may also see the Waldensians we added in the review of Italy last week. Yeah. There's the little bit of Waldensians down in Savoy. But other than that, it's pretty strongly Catholic. There is no such thing as Jan Hus yet.
Somebody's asking for a reformation.
There's some Frisian. There's a little bit of Frisian minority in Denmark, but there's a full-on county that's majority Frisian in Holstein. Raw materials. Fresh, 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 fresh. All right.
A lot of wine in the Rhineland.
Yes. Salt over the Low Countries. There's salt in a bunch of places, actually. And Bohemia has 2 gold, a silver, gems. Oh,
They have a lot of precious metal. 2 silvers, actually.
2 silver. They do in Moravia. Oh no.
And if they annex Silesia, another gold.
There's another one there too. No. Bohemia is too powerful. They must be stopped.
Ignore the fact that we saw Hungary had way more.
Gold.
We don't know how strong precious metals are going to be balance-wise yet, of course, but I imagine it's going to be fantastic to have a bunch of it.
They're usually strong in every Paradox game.
There's some saltpeter on the map day 1. Huh. Did not see that coming. Yeah. Silk in Geneva. Huh.
Got
Well,
milk.
that's interesting. And there's gold. Wait, is that Milan? Milan has gold?
No, that's not Milan.
Oh, it just looked kind of like it.
No, that's into the Alps. Milan
Milan
is
doesn't
more
go that
central
far.
to the state of Milan.
Milan doesn't go up that far. It's just that the map borders here are confusing me.
No, that gold province is in Milan, the state. It's just Milan, the city, is farther south.
It's in.
Here.
It's owned by this Como.
No, it's the one to the left of it, I believe.
Sion. No, it looks to me like Milan owns that.
Yeah, Milan owns the gold province.
Jeez.
Yeah, we saw that before.
Ah. Why? Why? Hmm. What else of note is there? There is not much that the HRE is missing.
Which makes sense. It's damn huge.
Hmm. I cannot think of anything that they have lacking of. They got plenty of stone and iron too. They got copper scattered around, wine, wood, lots of wood, plenty of different types of food. They got dyes in some places too. Clay for what that's worth. Medicaments are scattered around. Fruit.
Yeah,
Even
basically the
some.
only thing they don't got is I'm not really they don't have spices, they don't have
Yeah.
silk outside
Geneva has silk.
outside of Geneva.
That's it. Yeah, that's it for silk in the HRE, and the trade. Uh, Geneva is highly doubt. Yeah, it's in the Genoa one. The market
Barely. You
centers
might
of
be
the
able to
region.
snipe it either to Paris or Cologne.
Oh, this is before Frankfurt, huh? Frankfurt isn't the dominant trade in the West, huh? Interesting. And now we have it's no longer Antwerp, it's now the Bruges. So,
Oh
what
yeah.
Bruges trade? The main market centers of the region are Cologne, Lubeck, and Prague. We have reviewed them a couple times, and this is the configuration that makes a good setup historically and gameplay-wise. You may also notice that Bruges, which has been reinstated as the main market of the Low Countries after some tweaks, and Lubeck is extremely dominant in the north. We need Swabian market. Swabian market, rise up. And here is the country and location population. Shockingly, to absolutely no one's surprise, yeah, Bohemia is far and away the most people. The closest being Austria, but they're not close because of how many subjects Bohemia has.
Well, yeah, once they eat Moravia, they'll be at almost 2 million. And then
With the rest of the subjects, if you include the subjects, they are easily over 2 million.
probably close to 3 million if you include Silesia.
It's insane to me to think that Bohemia is a comparable power to Hungary at this point. Huh. That's ridiculous. The population of the HRE is fragmented, unsurprisingly. In that regard, Bohemia starts in a very strong position, with, with a strong competitor to its south, Austria, and north, Brandenburg. Yeah, I suppose Brandenburg can compete. Maybe they can get some migration going on as well. And that's it for today. I hope that we didn't drive you into madness with this setup. Next week we'll take you to a very different region, the Maghreb. Yes, I want to see the west of the west slash rest of Fez. Or Fazan. Also, the Black Death is just around the corner, so yeah, good point, Sam.
Everybody dies.
Except
Like
Milan and
Paul,
Poland,
everybody
apparently.
dies. These DMs need new materials.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little too cozy with repeating the rocks fall, everyone dies routine. If Milan was able to hold on to its population pretty well through the Black Death, they would be so powerful coming out of it.
Yes.
Just absolutely ludicrous population numbers compared to everyone else. Like if you half Hungary, for example, yeah, Milan would just be like able to throw hands with Hungary at that point if Hungary got slashed in half power wise, because Hungary is so much larger and spread out as well. The fact that Milan is so centralized, it's just yeah. Ooh. All right. Showing dev responses. Do 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 do. What's the Tinto Maps feedback? Everyone waiting for this one. Yeah, everyone's gonna be waiting for the Tinto feedback for this. Ah. So they are going to review Austria being split into Austria, Styria, Carinthia, and Carnolia. Carniola. I would like that. I would like that if I was playing as Austria too, to be honest. Oh God, Silesia map Vex. Person's name is Polo. Drac, you need to DM this person. They will be your best friend. Their name is Polo. Hmm. Hmm. Change some of the names to New Bavarian and not Austrian. Always open to suggestion. In this particular case, we discussed it quite in depth. We have a Bavarian content designer on the team. Okay,
So
what a
that's the real reason
surprise
it's all
then.
called Bavarian.
The real reason that the southern part of the region is just Bavarian for some reason. Yeah, we thought that the tripartite division portrayed it quite well in the situation in 1337. Yeah, but why is it all Bavarian?
Why wouldn't it all be Bavarian?
Tripartite.
Always has been.
I know that they're primarily going off linguistics for their culture setups. So Bavarian is actually the name of like the German dialect that's shared between Austria and Bavaria. But
We agreed that this would be more fitting and less weird given their extent. Hmm. It's just going to be really weird playing as Austria and having your culture be Upper Bavarian. No, not even Upper Bavarian. Danube Bavarian. Yeah. But it's what it is. Any updates on when we'll see North Atlantic Islands? Yeah. Atlantic Islands, please. Please. One day a wild Johann will randomly appear in post, I guess. Yes, please, Gib. Please, Gib. You start adding regions, subcontinent, continent. Nah, that doesn't really matter. There's too many locations in the Alps. The Alfes. Might do the German Alps to be a bit more functional after the review. No! No, they're good right now. I like this. I like them being split up a bunch. You don't want it to, I don't want it to just be like, oh,
I believe they clarify this later. It's not quite what you're thinking of. by what they mean for functional. So
Hmm. And there we go. Yeah, yeah. Why is there no Austrian culture? Well, we have the German Prussian and German Silesian. Yeah. I think this portrays the situation of 1337 more accurately. Let me speak to this Bavarian content designer that thinks that everyone down there should just be a different type of Bavarian. Hmm? Detailed account of their origins was not easy at all. We follow a similar approach for all the Eastern European Germans, for consistency. Transylvanian Germans, I think, are also the thing. I'm pretty sure they called them Transylvanian Germans.
correct.
Yeah. How many locations are in the HRE? Too many. Yes. Mm. State John could go today and code completely different market access values for the existing rivers, but we want to do the river rework first, so we don't have to make more balanced passes for those. So they haven't finished all their rivers yet, I guess. Huh. To think that the first Tinto map comprised just the Low Countries. Yeah, that was really funny that they just randomly made a post about the Low Countries and everyone was like, "Yes, this is good. Tell us more." Yeah. Hmm. Haven't removed any locations, so we just made them more clear to understand for the player. I see. Good, good. Hmm. When India. When India Tinto maps, after some other Tinto maps, and before some other Tinto maps, yes. Hmm. There will be content to portray the Hook and Cod Wars. Oh god. Uh Holland, Zealand, and Hainaut are gonna be going through some bullshit. It's not gonna be fun to play there, I'm sure. If they have anything Mayo and Taxes, where they're basically like, no, you will become PU'd. You must. It is your destiny. Yeah, the head of the dynasty chooses what the dynasty's epithet is. Yes. Mm. Mhm. Johann II von Hohenzollern is Count of Ansbach in 1337, ruling over 4 to 5 locations. And there's content that would make them possible to rule over Brandenburg, yes. Huh. How about that, Vector? Yeah. They
They know.
have they've got stuff coded in for them to potentially take over Brandenburg. Huh. I know the Wittelsbachs won't like that, but true them. Our German content designers have to improve their German skills. Hmm. Hmm. We have a flexible approach to location size with a lower limit of around 100 pixels and then a rule of... I need to take a screenshot of this real quick. For no particular reason. Have a
If it's
flexible
going to be
approach to...
asking after what's it called in Italy, they've already said that is way lower than their limit.
Oh, I'm not doing it for that. Just for my own personal reference to think to like. Oh, I'm curious how they actually. It's interesting to me to look at their like. Oh, how do they consider something, too small, or when do they. Just how they design their locations, you know. It's something that's also been interesting hearing Jamie talk about with how he thinks about different like baronies, county sizes, and then how mag and two mag bullshit. Some of those areas are just he needs to make the locations really big, and he hates making the baronies that large. Flexible approach to location size with a lower limit of around 100 pixels, so they don't go much smaller than 100 pixels. And then rule of thumb that a location can be more than 3 times the size of a neighboring one. To ensure that there's a smooth enough transition. I already mentioned in another post that for provinces, the accepted threshold is usually 3 to 10 locations, the standard usually being 4 to 6. But nothing's set in stone. Does the HRE have mechanics to fight or contain nations that become too powerful? It's handled by coalitions, but there will be some internal HRE features, of course, yeah. They don't have any sort of like, oops, this guy's getting too big, gotta stop him because the HRE needs to be fragmented. But I guess partition might do that. This partition succession that I'm theoretically getting closer to. Bring us around. Number 3, I think. Silver mines. Yes. Asked. Why isn't Treviso in the HRE? Asked this week. The content designers who are in charge of the borders. Treviso was not considered part of the HRE in the 14th century. They have to say that the borders of the Imperial territory in Italy are not the clearest. I had to do some research of Trieste as well, and it was quite difficult to figure out what was going on. I bet the history is not very clear at this time, yeah. Do different dynasties have their own possibility for inheritance? Suggestions for vegetation and stuff. Question: will Switzerland be scripted to form? And if you form Switzerland, will it be a country tag or an international organization? Oh, of course it's going to be a tag. Switzerland. We're considering making the Swiss Confederation an IO at the game start. Oh! Oh! There might, in fact, be a third international organization in the HRE. Switzerland!
HRE and leagues.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, I want that so bad. Oh.
I want that.
I do. I do. I want to play as one of the monasteries. I want to play as a monastic Swiss confederation. I want to see this happen.
I demand, like in EU4, to be able to become the brewmaster. I can't remember precisely what it's called, but you can essentially become a monastic brewery if you take the right reforms.
What?
And then you get some truly crazy names for when you hit the higher levels.
Yes, the mini HRE within the HRE. It's required, Sam. It's required. We need it.
How many levels of HRE are you on, my dude? Maybe 1 or 2. You are like little baby. Watch this.
And this is well, fine. So this is the post you were talking about, I guess, Vector. It's a very small one. Very
Yeah,
brief
although
answer. Just we have it.
it's brought up again a bit later.
Ah.
Although that's also a fairly short one.
Yeah, something I've always asked. I always ask when it comes to the HRE is, do we have partition inheritance? A big part of the HRE being the HRE is small states partitioning upon succession and getting even smaller. Only the electors and later Austria had the right to primogeniture. And yes, we have it. The question to me about this is, how does this affect republics and theocracies, though? Does it at all affect them?
Theocracies, no, because those are clerical bodies that aren't supposed to split.
Why do you think Trier is so big and Cologne is so big?
Yeah, because you don't.
But those
you
are
don't
electors.
Yeah, but you don't have clerical sees divide upon the death of a bishop. That's not how church hierarchy works. You don't see the Bishop of Canterbury die and then England suddenly has 2 bishops spawn from his corpse.
I mean, if they get large.
The Bishop of Canterbury was responsible for all of England. Kind of.
Talking about more HRE stuff later.
Bishop of York and shit, but.
Well, we just don't know, Sam, because we know that there's going to be some sort of mechanic for certain members of the empire to function like they've got partition succession, so they'll somehow break apart, I guess. But we don't know exactly who has that or exactly what it does. So I am sure that as a result of this, it's going to be pretty tricky to play as the small boys. German, as East Pomeranian, we've represented the Slavic culture of the region under the Palavian and Kashubian. Yeah, I imagine as much. They already have the partition succession. Yeah. Another comment just saying they already have it. Yeah, I want to see what this looks like, but I suppose they'll talk about that. Because people have been asking these questions, I'm sure they'll elaborate more once they talk about the HRE. I don't remember, because the next Tinto talk, I think they're elaborating on sieges and such. There's some just more stuff about warfare.
Sieges and logistics.
Yeah, right. Andorra is 160 pixels. Oh God, that map file must look crazy. 160 pixels. Andorra, 160 pixels. Whoo! Maghreb and Canary Islands. Yes. I think that's the best way to portray this kind of semi-autonomous community as, let's say, a one tag per location wouldn't really represent the situation either. Yeah. You wouldn't want to make Frisia just split into a ton of one location countries, all having Peasant Republic, and then just like, oh, Peasant Republic, every time you die, it splits you up into tinier locations. Every single.
That is what I want to have in Moldavia, though, since we have no idea of the history. I want the Moldavian anarchy.
I want it. The Swiss Confederation will most likely be an IO comprising several landed cantons. The Hansa is a different thing, which Johan will talk about at some point. Just screenshot that too.
Oh no, being the Emperor will be more challenging in Project Caesar than in EU4.
Good, because it's easy as fuck in EU4.
Well, I hope it's more engaging in EU4 than if it's harder, because
Uh-huh.
it's not hard in EU4. It's just boring as all get out because you're a babysitter.
I don't think that babysitting is boring. I think it's fun and engaging. It's just really easy. It's not hard to keep track of everything if you're playing a semi-powerful realm in the Empire, unless you actively have people attacking you. Then it's like, well, then you lose.
Good day.
Good day, sir. Can the Emperor protect the Empire from powerful countries like Hungary, France, and Naples? Ah, good on you, Naples. You're getting called the powerful country. I mean, they are, I guess. Yeah. The Emperor seems so weak, the Empire so decentralized. I hope it's not too easy for countries to invade. It's the idea, yes, but being the Emperor in Project Caesar will be much more challenging than EU4. Yes, right.
It should
Not
be
gonna elaborate.
possible as a balance thing for the Emperor to try to be able to call in, because the Emperor didn't have a guarantee of anything. The Imperial Estates weren't compelled to answer his summons to war, but he should at least be able to ask, like the Imperial Diet. Kind of like
Yes.
when the Ottomans, the Siege of Vienna, the Austrians, in their capacity as Holy Roman Empire Emperor, were able to get some of the states of the Holy Roman Empire to join a new Holy League.
I think they try to represent that sort of thing in EU4 with just you
With the
getting more
extra
manpower,
manpower.
which
Yeah,
feels
but
like a really boring way of representing it, but I
well,
understand
not
why they do it.
accurate to how I imagine it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you much more. It's like how the same way in just CK3. It's just like you just get some levies. It's like I want some more. Like I want some more nuance there. Like in CK3, I would prefer it to be like you get specific armies that are these are these men at arms that you're borrowing from these people because they've answered the call, that sort of thing. And in EU5 with the Emperor, I'm hoping, for example, that you're going to be able to call certain members of the Empire in to wars, external wars, that is. Um, but we'll see how they make that work. It's fine in EU4, but definitely can be better. So. Hmm. They're considered a peasants' republic, which makes some for some different gameplay. Yeah. Hmm. Like this question. I like this person asking a question, just like trying to fiend for information about landless countries. Speaking of the Swiss Confederation, if we centralize it, could we play a sort of federal state of those members as a landless country? Hmm? uh, it's a debatable abstraction how federal/confederal work. The stadtholder of the Dutch Republic had power and jurisdiction over the provinces on certain issues, and that actually evolved into the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Landless IOs fit much better for non-territorial authorities such as the HRE. Okay. Hmm. The borders can get even worse. Yeah. Yeah. The borders can get even worse because everyone's going to be partitioning. And we'll have to see how that works. But yeah, Austria could break apart. That's right. It's not an elector. And they don't have their privileges yet. The Habsburgs can shatter into tiny pieces before they grow stronger.
Yes.
Oh, God. I don't know if it's important for Austria to have its little vassals yet, actually, because this way it's even better because they'll partition. Ah. Yes, the Hussite faith is going to exist. I can't wait for that. I'm sure that, among other things, is going to be one of the fantastically fun things you get to look forward to when you're trying to be the emperor. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
the Archduchy of Austria only became a thing in 1453, apparently.
Not even in EU4 at Game Start. Oh,
I think they
well,
just abstracted it in EU4 since it's
yeah,
only 9
only a
years
decade,
after
yeah.
Game Start.
But in this case, you genuinely could have a situation of Austria breaking apart before it gets special privileges to have primogeniture. I bet that's a very important thing for them to try and
Yeah,
unlock primogeniture.
Brandenburg, Habsburgs.
Take that! I I wonder how many, if any, like countries that aren't in the HRE have primogeniture. I mean, it can partition rather.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm assuming it's a succession law, much like Salic law is in France.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Ireland starts with
hmm
um,
That was my first thought immediately
partition.
as well. I would be.
Otherwise, I think at this stage, maybe No, not Poland. Well, I'm just thinking how the Piasts are all spread out into a bunch of little polities. It kind of feels
Yeah.
like they've been partitioned into that state. So,
Drac would be the one who would know, of course.
but yeah, I feel Iberia is on primogeniture at this point. I want to say most of the Italian states are probably on primogeniture.
I'm sure
I mean,
England is.
France is kind of primogeniture, but you've got the appanages and the expectations of landed titles for second sons and shit like that.
So yeah, not quite partition, but France does, and I hope they represent that. I love the idea of like an appanage succession thing, where depending on
Mm-hmm.
like the families you have, unless you get rid of that, you're going to be just spawning out new vassals.
Yep.
And you need to deal with that. You need to
Yeah,
try
eventually France devolves to the point where it spawns an international organization called King of the Franks, and it's just a Western HRE.
Ah, I'm so excited to see that sort of thing. And I love that the code being there for a partition succession is something I'm going to look forward to when it comes to my own coding of stuff. It's like how many tribes? Do tribes have partition, for example? Like, do the different hordes? Like, is the Golden Horde going to split at all on
Oh
succession?
yeah, or
For
they'll
that?
probably have their own weird succession type. Yeah.
In West Africa as well. That's a place that's pretty close to the play like everywhere is the playable area, but like the regions we've talked about so far, uh, we're getting closer to talking about that stuff, and I'm curious if once we get to talking about places like West Africa, which I imagine is going to be the first tribal area we'll learn about, whether they'll say, "Oh yeah, in here, these like here's some tribes, they have partition," things like that. But we shall see.
Here be partition. Would be an interesting thing to have a map mode for.
Government succession types.
Yeah.
Republic succession, theocratic succession, partition. And then if you're the Mongols, get fucked succession. Well, that's that. I guess we're to the part where we drum roll. Anything
Go through
interesting?
random chat or random threads.
What stops tribal countries from dying fast?
Being ruled by Chads.
Don't think there's much here. Hmm. The devs haven't responded to a ton in here. terrible ideas thread. What the heck does that mean? Uh, well, I suppose that might just be it then. I don't think there's much worth talking about in there right now.
Yeah, that about feels it to me.
Shockingly, we didn't make it to 2 hours this time. What the heck?
Barely.
Huh.
Well, I don't know.
It's getting close.
I
Let's
mean,
get distracted by something else for
an
20
hour
minutes.
40.
Alright. But if you folks are good, then stretch. I think we can end this here. So, I thank you all. Getting too efficient for my own good? Yes. They've bullied me into being faster. So I'm skipping through a bunch of stuff that's not interesting to talk about. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't bully you.
Yes, you did.
I don't.
You both did.
Okay, I do I've never bullied in my life. Name one time.
No, I don't feel like it. Anyway. Thank you all for watching. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.